You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Call to Campbell. I'm Ty, and as far as Cult Talk Net goes, I am the only member on this episode. But don't fret, Campbellites, because you're not going to listen to me all episode. Cult Talk Net has some very groovy new friends that we want to introduce that are joining me as guests on this episode. Everyone, please welcome some of the people behind BruceFest 2022, Paul and Selena. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Selena. I'm the creative director of BruceFest.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm the head writer and immersive consultant for BruceFest. And I help produce a little bit too sometimes.
And these guys are behind BruceFest 22, as we put. And this is a one-of-a-kind, intimate experience with the king himself. I'm sure you know who he is since you're listening to Cult of Campbell. Bruce Campbell, as well as Ted Raimi, a Bruce Campbell favorite. It's not a convention. It's not a brief meet and greet at a Comic-Con. This is a full weekend where you get to spend time with Bruce Campbell and do all kinds of fun activities. And there's nothing else like it that I can think of. This is a truly one-of-a-kind fan experience. Now, this is going to be taking place as well at the Stanley Hotel, which is very interesting. And if you don't know, the Stanley Hotel is the inspiration behind The Shining. So a lot of cool little horror Easter eggs for people. Fans of the whole genre can enjoy this, honestly. So
exactly, yeah.
Now, we definitely want to talk more about BruceFest, and we're going to do that here in our next segment. But first, there's something we do here, and I want you guys to join us. Since this is your first episode ever, we're going to give everyone the little bumper to go into the next segment. And whenever you guys are ready, let's get
groovy.
Groovy.
Let's get groovy.
You didn't do it.
Let's get groovy. There we go. Got it.
Should we try that again?
It's always a mess. No, it's always a mess. It's fine. Let's get groovy.
Grab your boomstick and fire up the Delta. It's time for ACTION. Join the Cult of Campbell. Groovy.
And if you're lucky a little later, I'll let you play with my boomstick.
BruceFest 22. This, as we put, this is a one-of-a-kind experience centered solely around Bruce Campbell. Nothing else like it I can think of. No other conventions I've ever been to where it just solely focuses on the main event, the one we're there to see, Bruce Campbell. So I want to talk to you guys about how this got started. Where did BruceFest come from? Because this is the second one, correct?
Yes, this is the second one. We were approached by his amazing agent, Craig Newman. We love him. So creative, so fun. And he's like, I have this awesome client and he has a great fan base and we should do something with him. And we didn't know what that was going to be. I grew up a huge Bruce Campbell fan, all about Briscoe County Jr. I was all about that show. So I knew of him and I was like, I want to take the lead on this. So we started to develop and research what was out there. So I saw that he did a lot of conventions, a lot of appearances. He loves his fan base. He really does love interacting. But it seems kind of like he did the same thing everywhere. He would just appear, take pictures, sign something, and poof, he's gone after 30 minutes or an hour. We were like, I think I want more time with him. I want to do more creative stuff. So we had a meeting with Bruce. We pitched him all these ideas of like, what if you had more time? What if you served drinks? What if you interacted with your fans for longer than 30 minutes? What if you did a murder mystery party? What if you did this? And he ate it up and added more ideas because he's brilliant. So he was like, what if I do this? What if I, appear where they don't expect it and stuff like that? So he was really game, so much fun to work with. So we started building and ideating from there and just trying to think outside the box. Like if I were to get to spend time with Bruce, what would I want to experience beyond a handshake, a picture, and a signing? So we made it this fully immersive, interactive weekend where you get to see him in different ways and you get to watch a movie and have him do a live commentary while you watch your favorite movies. We know the whole movie by heart. He gets to pause it and say, this is where I twisted my ankle. I was sprained my ankle the rest of this movie, you know, or Sam really loves messing with me. So he would beat me up in this scene. So like the behind the scenes stuff is really what you got. And it's so much more intimate. It's not 10,000 people waiting to see Bruce. It's, you know, a very, very small number. So that was kind of where it started.
Now, this, like I said, this is the second one. So the first one you guys had as well at the Stanley, correct?
Yep.
Now, you're doing movies with this, so watch along movies, correct? So what movies are we going to watch with Bruce at BruceFest? That's the big thing. Like Bruce, obviously an actor, and he does some amazing films. What can the people that join BruceFest 22 expect to see?
This year we're watching, and it's fun because we have Ted this year. We didn't have Ted last year. So we're trying to incorporate him as much as he wants to be incorporated. Yeah, exactly. So we're watching Evil Dead 2. Where both of them can talk about it. They were on set. They're both in it. It's going to be hilarious. Then we were going to watch Bubba Hotep, which is probably one of my favorite movies of his because it's
so underrated.
I just cry every time. I know, right?
That was one of my biggest joys about starting Cult of Campbell is, you know, I pushed everyone that we have in Cult of Campbell into doing it. Like I'm the Bruce fan, and I've kind of been like, you know, pulling them into it, and no one had seen Bubba Hotep. And I kept telling them, we got to watch this movie. And it's a hard sell because it's like, well, what's it about? It's like, oh, it's Elvis and JFK fighting a mummy in a retirement home. And it's a really hard sell just to get someone to watch that. And I got everyone to watch it. And now it's across the board, everyone's favorite Bruce Campbell movie. And it was one of my biggest joys about this podcast. If anything, I got all my friends turned on Bubba Hotep. So that was the best.
So great. And I mean, another selling point is Don Coscarelli. Like,
yes, of course.
You know, so he's just like the king of, you know, so we get to do that day 2, which Bruce is really excited about. I don't think he's ever done a commentary on that because everyone books him for Evil Dead series, but he's done other things. Like we're going to eventually do, you know, Maniac Cop. We're going to do Man with the Screaming Brain someday, you know, so we want to do his entire universe.
Yeah, that's a fun place to dip into.
Yeah, but we are going to end day 3 with Army of Darkness because, again, Bruce and Ted, both there, both in it, both can talk about that experience. So we're watching Evil Dead 2 this time, Bubba Hotep, and Army of Darkness.
So are we also doing, maybe I heard wrong, Lunatics? Is that on the board still, or is that?
Oh, that's right. We are doing Lunatics. Forgot, Paul. Don't let me forget.
That is why I'm very excited for that one.
Yeah, so that one...
We did that episode here on Cult of Campbell. We did a Lunatics Valentine's Day special. And only way you can find that movie is in Spanish. So none of us being Spanish speakers, and we're from, you know, the middle of Ohio, we had to kind of like translate. We had to use Google, audio to text translation. It was a fun one to do. It was a mess, but it was one of my favorite episodes. We had to watch it. It's like we love Ted. That's another thing too that happened in Cult of Campbell is Eric. He's one of the hosts. I introduced him to Ted Raimi, and he just fell in love with Ted Raimi, like all the little quirks and just how he's like the underdog in every movie. He's just the little guy that you eventually find some sort of love for. He fell in love with him. So I was like, we had to watch Lunatics.
Quick correction there. In Candyman, though, Ted Raimi is the bad boy.
He is
biker punk.
Oh,
yeah.
He is not a very likable character in Candyman. You know your stuff, Paul. Not everyone knows that Ted Raimi was in Candyman.
Yeah, I got my Raimi goggles on.
Yeah.
He sees Raimis everywhere.
Now, Selena, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think we can announce that we are going to be screening Lunatics in the original English language.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, excellent. That's a good note. You will be able to hear it in English. So I looked for that movie forever. And it came out on VHS a while, like, you know, when it first came out, and then they released it on DVD in Australia, and it's just like forever difficult to find. So someone on YouTube uploaded the full movie in Spanish. So,
well, we're lucky that we get to work with studios directly, so they just send us copies. But yes, so we're going to do Lunatics, and it's a little different because instead of pausing it, because some people, like we said, it's kind of a deep cut. There's going to be a panel with Bruce and Ted after. So we'll watch the whole movie, and then we get to talk to them and ask questions and stuff after.
Also, there's one other announcement that we have that we're very, very excited about. We were just able to announce this recently on Halloween. BruceFest 2022 is going to feature a world exclusive first look at a piece from Evil Dead Rise.
That's exciting. That's big news, because that's a highly anticipated movie. That was I know originally that was going to be like an HBO Max exclusive, and then I think they did a test screening, and it was so well received that they moved it to theatrical. So I'm really excited.
We've had meetings with Warner Brothers, and they are over the moon excited. All the people that we've talked to on those meetings. And they're actually flying to BruceFest, I believe, with like a briefcase on a handcuff, and has to physically hand it to us because it's so under lock and key. They're all descending on BruceFest to hand us this exclusive piece of the film.
That's exciting. There's a lot of exciting things in this weekend.
It's crazy exciting. I mean, the way that I got involved with this initially was just, I've always been a huge fan of Bruce Campbell. And so I've worked with Selena before, and she knew that. And so she brought me on board. And so now this has just been so many amazing things associated with this experience, but now getting to see this exclusive first look at a piece from Evil Dead Rise is just mind-blowingly cool. I have to remember that I'm there to work,
Yeah.
We have a little fun on the side.
A lot of fun.
Bruce is great. That's the thing too, is like his fan base is super, super supportive. I don't think there's many other actors out there that have the kind of fan base that Bruce has. And a lot of it does stem from his just willingness to interact and have fun. Like, I've watched videos on YouTube of him just at Q&As, and he likes to roast his audience and stuff. And it's super fun. Here in Columbus, I have a thing called the Shimp Shelf. It's a detolf I have, and it's just my detolf I keep all my Bruce stuff in, because I'm an avid Bruce Campbell fan. My friends have always known I fell in love with Bruce at a very young age. I think it was like back in like Tillicus, and Xenon and stuff like that. So I have this thing called the Shimp Shelf where I just collect Bruce stuff. And I have like a few like vintage toy stores I visit, and I'll walk in and they have just like a box for me, and they'll say, "Oh, we got stuff in," and they bring it out and they showcase it. Here's all the Bruce stuff we got this week. And because he's just one of those actors, it's not just liking an actor. Like, you really do kind of feel like you're part of something when you're a Bruce Campbell fan.
For me, this is kind of personal, but it's meant to be funny. When I was in therapy, my therapist asked me if I could think of an example of a fictional character who is a good example of overcoming trauma, and the first character I thought of is Ash, and really and Bruce Campbell in general. I mean, there's something, it's all silly and fun, but then underneath that, there's just something I think that is so deeply fulfilling and empowering about a character who can stare down, these kinds of cosmic, unthinkable horrors and, crack jokes and just kind of be an asshole and then start chainsawing them, and I think that's something that's really universal about Bruce, what he brings to Ash and all his parts that resonates with me, and I think a lot of the fan base,
Oh, for sure. And just that character too, Ash Campbell, I mean, it has transcended like this. It's crazy. You watch Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead. It's just this like little splatter B movie. Like, in all honesty, it's just this little splattery horror movie. And you look now, and they just announced him for Fortnite. His character's in Fortnite, of all things, which is like a global phenomena. Now he's in it. It's just crazy.
You need to start finally playing Fortnite.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I seen it. I was like, man, like. I haven't played that since it came out. I was like, I might have to actually, play as Bruce. Evil Dead, the game just came out, which I believe you guys have partnered with them as well, correct?
We are. We're partnered with Saber Games. They're awesome. And we actually have, we haven't even announced this yet, so you get a lot of exclusives today. Wow. Andy Campbell, Bruce's son, who's big on Twitch and is a big gamer, he's joining us
Awesome.
for BruceFest, and he will be running the Saber Game Lounge. So we'll be playing Evil Dead, the game. You can play Andy. Bruce will come by, bust your chops about how you suck at this game, and my son's going to kick your butt. So that's really fun. We have like a game lounge for Evil Dead the game. And then also we have a tabletop section where you can play tabletop games. And Ted Raimi's really into tabletop games. So it was his idea. He's like, I could sit down and we could like schedule times where you can play a game with me one-on-one. And I was like, boom, done. You get to play
That is
one-on-one tabletop games with Ted Raimi, and Andy will join as well. So you get to play. And I guarantee you, if Andy's there, Bruce is going to come by just to pick on him. So it's a lot of, like I said, like a lot of one-on-one intimate time with both Bruce and Ted and Andy.
That's the thing. Like, this is not just, Comic-Con or something like that, where you go and you walk in, you shake his hand, have him sign an action figure and do your picture and walk off. Like, this is legitimately, you are getting to spend quality time with Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi. It's nothing else like it. And the schedule, I mean, I have the schedule. You guys mind if I run through it, like what we have?
Please, yeah. No.
So this is, of course, December 1st to December 3rd. That's a Thursday, Friday, and a Saturday. And just some of the stuff you guys have on here is just amazing. The things you're going to get to do in this weekend. So you get to do Last Fan Standing with Bruce Campbell. That's like a trivia thing, right?
Yes, and it's actually tournament style. So we're gonna play it a couple times. So we have a couple contestants come up. It's like a full-on game show with like buzzers and everything. It's hilarious. And then at the end of the weekend, there will be one final winner. So it's kind of a tournament style we're building to.
So each day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it's a continuous tournament to the finals.
I think we had to move it. Yeah, we had to move it to Friday, Saturday because there was a scheduling conflict. So Thursday, the schedule has shifted slightly. But Friday, Saturday, we play Last Man Standing. We all go to dinner, or we have a dinner break, and then we come back to watch the movies. Also,
you guys mentioned Lunatics in English. Huge,
in English.
Huge announcement there. We're going to see Lunatics in its intended form in English. Also, the one-on-one game table room with Ted. This is, much like Comic-Con, things like that, you will get your opportunity to have signings and photo ops with Bruce and Ted, and I think that's just an added bonus for anyone who joins this, is you get to leave with a little something. The Bubba Hotep screening, which I think would be an amazing experience to see Bruce talk about a true hidden gem. I've always said, like, if Bruce was ever going to win like an Oscar or something like that, this is the movie. This is like a for-year consideration performance in Bubba Hotep.
I remember too, last year at BruceFest, there was a Q&A period. I don't remember what the question was, but it led Bruce to talk at length about what that movie meant to him. And he, sort of was saying that out of his whole body of work, it's one that he thought was really important and that really meant something to him. So I'm really excited to hear him discuss the movie as we watch it.
Yeah, that movie it's something else. I read the book is based off on, and it's crazy just the difference, because the book it's based on is a lot more like I would say a lot more campy. It doesn't delve into a lot of the same elements that the movie does, and it's one of those rare instances where like the movie is, in my opinion, better than the book. Because you watch the movie and it really does make you feel like something, like you feel like invested in this character, and it's a different experience to see from Bruce, because up till that point he'd been in the Evil Dead movies, which are fun, action horror movies. He did all his B movie stuff, like probably the Terminal Invasion up to that point and things, Maniac Cop. But then to see him like actually like sink his chops into playing this like character with a serious arc and all these really in-depth conflicts with like aging, it's awesome. It's just a one of a kind movie, and I feel sorry for anyone that hasn't seen that. But
I feel lucky that their first time they'll see it is with Bruce.
Yeah, that would be an amazing experience.
Like
I couldn't imagine that being like your first time getting to see it and you have Bruce there to comment on it. And then Friday also has something I think is very interesting. It's the S-Mart holiday party with Bruce and Ted. So what is that about?
So we have an ARG that runs all weekend. So the immersive aspect is there's also a story that you're immersed in. We created BruceFest universe, as it were, and we have a host that joins us, the CEO of S-Mart, Bradley Smart. And so he's treating us to the S-Mart holiday party. So we get to go to a very campy, office party, holiday style. And Bruce and Ted are going to show up in an interesting way. They'll be there on site. I don't want to say how, but so we get to go to bring a tacky holiday sweater kind of party that night. And it's like light hors d'oeuvres and cocktails and stuff. So it's it's like our first mixer, big style.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, in our immersive narrative, S-Mart is a sponsor of BruceFest, and so that is why their CEO comes to our festival. And we're continuing a story that began at the first BruceFest, where we actually have a lot of. If you're interested in learning about the story of BruceFest, you can go to www.shopsmartonline.com, and that's with a hyphen in S-Mart. So that's www.shopsmartonline.com, and don't forget the hyphen. And, the TLDR here is that what we learned last time is that S-Mart is actually, the leadership of S-Mart is actually in league with demonic forces and using Deadite labor to expand their business empire. So there's sinister undertones and a whiff of danger.
And a new mystery to solve. So there's a whole new story arc, mystery, and puzzles throughout the weekend, if you so choose to engage. There's also a little scavenger hunt you can engage with all weekend. So if there's a lull between events, or if for some reason want to skip something, which I don't know why you would, but there's mysteries and puzzles and scavenger hunts to play throughout the weekend as well that are in universe.
And now S-Mart is S-Mart is one of the main sponsors of BruceFest, and I think that's pretty exciting for anyone who is a fan of the Evil Dead universe as S-Mart returns, because we know in Ash vs. Evil Dead, we didn't get to see any S-Mart. Well, now it's back, and I'm very excited for that because S-Mart was always one of those things I was a really big fan of.
Well, so in Ash versus the Evil Dead, Ash was working at, I believe it was called Value Stop. I don't remember. Yeah, it was at Value Stop. So in one of his interviews, when he was promoting Ash versus the Evil Dead, Bruce made this sort of offhand comment that S-Mart had been bought out by a multinational conglomerate, and that's why the name was different. When really it was because for season 1, they didn't have rights to stuff from Army of Darkness.
Yes.
So we have worked that into our narrative, and now Bradley, the CEO and heir to the S-Mart, his family started the business. After the events of Ash versus the Evil Dead, he managed to reacquire the family brand from the Moknang Group, which was the conglomerate that had purchased it, and also repurchased their flagship location in Detroit. So that's why, in our narrative, S-Mart is back.
And also S-Mart on Saturday, you'll have this spooky shopping. What is that going to entail? Spooky shopping.
We have 13 local and I believe a few national vendors of oddities, of kind of spooky paraphernalia, but all of them are artisans. So last year we had like a ceramicist that had like really awesome spooky designs. We had articulated skeletons. We had really freaky little zombie figurines that are freaky. So it's S-Mart skinned, but it's all oddities and very,
awesome.
Outside the box paraphernalia that you can buy.
Yeah, it's mind-blowing stuff. Last year we did a similar thing, I think, with fewer vendors, and a lot of the ones we had last year are returning, but I spent way too much money there. I wasn't expecting to. I started seeing what kind of stuff they had. I was like, oh my God, I got like half of my Christmas gifts there.
Oh yeah, I am bad at those. We have a few oddities fests that come through Columbus, and I frequent those because I'm big into like cryptid stuff, like Bigfoot and Nessie, all that stuff. And for some reason, cryptid places are the only place I can find good cryptid stuff. So I go there, and I have a wall in my kitchen. My kitchen is cryptid themed because why not? So I have a wall in my kitchen where it's all my cryptid art and stuff that I picked up from oddities festivals. And then also even last year I picked up a really nice resin. It's like a resin prop of the Necronomicon from Evil Dead 2, which is my favorite Necronomicon. That's my favorite design of the Necronomicon's one from Evil Dead 2. So that was pretty cool.
Speaking of Necronomicon, we are teaming with Sam Raimi's team to bring original props. So we have, I believe it's from Army of Darkness, an original Necronomicon coming to BruceFest. We have the original boomstick. We have a chainsaw. I don't want to give it all away, but there's a lot. There's a lot of other things coming from Sam Raimi's collection because he actually kept a lot of it. So we have a props curator from the HSPPA joining us, James Azrael. He's amazing. He's the head of the organization, and they preserve and restore horror films, used horror props. So last year they brought a lot of stuff from Resident Evil and Ash vs. the Evil Dead and John Wick and all these different, there was a Harry Potter piece too. So he has stuff from all over.
Oh, wow.
But
There was
this
like
year we're teaming.
the walrus guy from Tusk was there.
Oh,
I mean, there was a
Tusk.
bunch of crazy stuff. Yeah, there was like
It
Hellraiser
was
stuff.
so
Like, it was nuts.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So not only do we have some of his items, we've teamed with Sam Raimi's team to bring original items. So James will be curating, making sure they're preserved and in tip-top shape. But apparently a lot of the Evil Dead universe and Sam Raimi stuff isn't available for collectors because he kept most of it. So we were able to connect with Sam and his team and say, hey, we're doing this. Can we borrow some of these literally priceless, one-of-a-kind props and bring them out of state, which they've never left the state of California other than the filming. So we're bringing some very, very special rare props to BruceFest this year from Sam, which is
That
nice.
is awesome. That's again one of those things. It's one of a kind. Only here at BruceFest 22 where you get to see this kind of stuff, and it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Now, also,
Real quick, I got
Good.
it. It's the Horror and Sci-Fi Prop Preservation Association. The
There it is.
HSPPA, Horror and
There you
Sci-Fi
go.
Prop Preservation Association.
There it is.
I think you guys had
They
the
do
first
good work.
time. HSP. I think you had the first time.
Yeah.
There you go. You were on
Yeah.
it. And now also, Ted is debuting the trailer for. He has a new movie coming out, right? That we're going to get to see a
Yes.
trailer for.
So we have
Red
two
Light.
exclusive new things.
Yeah,
Red
two
Light, yeah.
exclusives.
So he'll bring that. He's going to talk to us about it. So that'll be premiering on Sunday, right before we watch Army of Darkness.
I think one of the coolest things, and I don't think a lot of people have talked about it, is like it's really weird. You had the Evil Dead game that came out, over the summer with, of course, Bruce, and I think Ted might be in it as maybe. I think maybe Henrietta's in it as well. But
I think they brought back like every voice actor going back to the original Evil Dead. It's nuts. I mean, really, like it's an amazing arrangement of voice talent in that game. It's like every character in that game, and it has all the major characters from the Evil Dead movies. I could be wrong about this, but I think like every character in that game is voiced by the original actor.
Yeah, I know they just
So
announced
cool.
the blacksmith DLC where you get the blacksmith from Army of Darkness. And
Wow.
this is the original guy. But also, like, people don't talk about it as like Ted had the Quarry that came out over the summer. No one talks about that
Yes.
new game, and he's like one of the main villains in that game. And people haven't really talked about that. That's super cool that in one summer you have Bruce and Ted in like two of the biggest horror games like out there. Like
It's the
it's super cool.
renaissance of the cult Campbell universe.
I'm always happy to see Bruce in things, but I'm even happier when I see Ted in things because I don't think Ted gets enough appreciation. So
Yeah.
I'm always excited when I see Ted in things. I just bought, but gifted. One of the toy stores I went to gifted me this little figure, and like I didn't know what it was when I came in. They're like, "Oh, we have something for you," and I was like, "Okay." And they bring me out a little box. They give it to me. I didn't know what it was, but it's a Ted Raimi action figure. He only has one action figure out,
What?
or technically two. But he has one action figure from Sequest from the 90s. Never saw the show, but apparently they did an action figure of him, and doesn't look that much like him. But they come out like, "Here, we got you. You can have this." And I was like, "What is this?" And they're like, "It's Ted Raimi." I was like, "Of course it is." And I got that on my shelf now. But yeah, I don't think Ted gets enough appreciation. That, and then he has a Henrietta action figure, I guess, from Ash vs. Evil Dead. You can count that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool little piece for my shimp shelf. Yeah, like I love when I see Ted and things. Now the final day, Saturday, December 3rd, it ends. Well, there's two things that end it. There's a Bruce and Ted crown cosplay costume contest. So
Yes.
is
So
that
bring your
cosplaying as anything or Bruce and Ted? Or
well, we
what?
would hope you'd stay in the Campbell universe.
Right.
But yeah, it's we want to encourage people to dress up that last day. Not only is there a cosplay contest that last day, but right after that we have Dance of the Dead. So either cosplay or a fancy dress, like it's like, a bit of a social hop dance hop thing where we'll be doing a very special photo op with everybody that comes, and Bruce and Ted, all of The Shining, and some other surprises will happen during the dance as well. So there's one final big social formal kind of dance and cosplay. So there'll be
Yeah.
people in cosplay and people in dresses and tuxes. I don't know.
I love this event because it's like all the like favorite. I've been to a few horror conventions. This is like all the best things about a horror convention. You get the cosplay, the signings, the photos, but you get to do it all with Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi, which is like the coolest part about it. It's like going to a big horror convention, but you're not there for just random horror movies. You're there for Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi, and that's super awesome. It's like
experience. A fraction of the crowds,
Yeah.
because this is a much more intimate sort of limited number of people type of event. So, you don't have to, I mean, I think you probably have to stand in some lines, but not for as long, and with way less.
Yeah. And we do that on purpose because, we've all been to the big cons where you're like, it's so brief and this is very much, he wanted time with his fan. Like he wanted to spend time with people and we want to spend time with him. So
yeah. I remember I went to a convention years ago, and I told this story on Call to Campbell one time. It was the actor who plays his character eludes me. It's really bad. He plays the soldier from Evil Dead 2. He's the one that carries the bags, and you find out he's a soldier or whatever. I met him at a horror convention because he had no there was no one there to like see him. He was sitting at the table all alone. And I kept walking by, and he was just there by himself. And like I knew who he was, but I just wasn't there I was there to see Roddy Piper at the time. So this was like years ago.
Nice.
And finally, I was like, no one's going up to this table. So I went up and I got an autograph, and I just sat there and talked to him for like an hour and a half. And like he let me behind the table, and I sat there and talked to him for a little bit. It was really cool. But I felt really bad because no one was there to get his autograph, and he sat there and we just talked about like Evil Dead and stuff like that, and. Roddy Piper, he was like, "Oh, you're here to see Roddy Piper?" I was like, "Yeah." So we talked about They Live for a little bit. It was a really cool experience, but it was one of these little things these little memories I have that it's kind of like
That's
that,
awesome.
but you're getting to spend time with Bruce and Ted for 3 days. So
there's a lot of people who were at the thing last time that have sought me out on social media and keep in touch with me, and are looking forward to this one. So I feel like there's the beginnings of a community kind of forming around it of ultra cool Bruce fans who are becoming homies. And so that's really an exciting thing.
Yeah. Like it's not only Bruce and Ted, but you get to meet these. I mean, I made friends there with the guests. Like they're so cool. We all love the same thing. We actually hosted an engagement. So someone wanted to get engaged with Bruce involved. We got Bruce involved. It was so beautiful. So, like this is not only just like we're fans, this is our life and we make friends for the rest of our lives out of these things. So it's really fun to get to do that in not a huge convention, 10,000 people setting.
And I'll correct myself. It wasn't the guy that played, I was thinking of the guy that played Jake. It was Richard Domier. He played Evil Ed from Evil Dead 2. So that's who I met at the convention. Talked to him like, wow. But
just Evil Ed. It was like, was it a different actor after Ed got possessed?
I know there's a guy that does the voice of Evil Ed, but this was just the guy who played Ed like in the movie.
Yeah.
I said I don't talk to him, but no, like I think we talked. This is pretty crazy. This experience, and I hope people understand. Like this is like a once in a lifetime thing, but I guess not once in a lifetime. This is going to be an event I think lives on for a while because there's nothing else like it. There's no, I cannot think of any kind of experience you can have where you get to meet someone like Bruce, and not just meet, but get to have a weekend, like really a one of a kind intimate weekend with Bruce Campbell and Ted Raimi, which I think is like a huge added bonus.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of once in a lifetime because it's changed every time. Like this year's already so much bigger. You're getting so many exclusives from studios now. So it's just going to keep growing. So to get in on sort of the ground floor, the last one was the ground floor. Now it's like already kind of getting bigger, but so every time it's just going to change. Our storyline changes, the mysteries change, the interactions change. Yeah, we're really, really excited.
And where else can you get a drink served by Bruce Campbell? Where else can you go to get that done?
Exactly.
Nothing else like it.
And also, if the evil forces behind S-Mart have their way, the world could really end any day. So this year's could be once in a lifetime.
True. You always keep that in the back of your mind. Keep that in the back of your mind. The fate of the world is always hanging on by a thread, and it needs a hero.
Exactly.
So BruceFest 22, the Stanley Hotel, December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. That's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Just jam-packed with stuff. Like experiences you're not going to get anywhere else. I just can't think of any other better way to say it. Like, this is a huge opportunity to really get to spend time with Bruce Campbell, and it's not going to happen anywhere else. This is not a Comic-Con. This is not a WonderCon or anything like that. This is a convention, basically, fully around Bruce Campbell, and you get to spend time with Bruce, Ted, and a lot of like-minded Bruce Campbell fans. And I think that's really the best thing about it, is getting to spend the weekend with all these people who have just so much in common. That's what I've always loved about horror conventions. You go to a horror convention and you instantly have something in common with everybody there, and it just makes you hang out so much better. And here you instantly have something in common with everyone, and Bruce Campbell's just there, so he's just there, and that's the coolest thing about it.
Also the Stanley Hotel itself is an amazing place to have this festival, and just a destination that any horror fan should obviously visit at some point. And so that by itself is just a cool thing, and then having this horror themed festival in that location is pretty magical.
Yeah, this is an awesome experience, and you guys definitely have put in the work to make this something really unique. I think anyone who's a fan of Bruce Campbell, like, this is definitely something you have to try to get in on, because it's something special. In all seriousness, this is really a special event that I think everyone needs to go and try to experience, because it's Bruce and Ted for a weekend. What more can you ask? Bubba Hotep, Lunatics, Christmas party, dance. I mean, it's got everything. Getting to see one of a kind screen used props from Sam Raimi himself. The list goes on of just crazy things happening this weekend that are just one of a kind. I mean, no other way to put it. Like, this is truly a once in a lifetime experience. Now you can find all the information about this on Instagram at BruceFest Official. Do you guys have Twitter and all that, or?
No, but we have a website, brucefest.co. So you can get all the information there.
And
there
tickets,
are
yes,
tickets. Get your tickets. If you want to learn more about this, they're going fast. If you want to learn more about the mystery, the story, the universe that you'll be stepping in, that website, Paul, you said it so well.
Oh, it's www.shopsmartonline.com. And don't forget the hyphen in S-Mart.
That's so S-Mart?
S-Mart. Well, it's a hyphen. I think there's a difference between a hyphen and a dash. Anyways, the one that's right by the plus sign.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to put it in the description below.
Yeah, so. There's another website out there, too, that is almost... it's kind of a secret. You have to find it on your own. But if you go to like the brucefest.co and the S-Mart site, you can maybe find your way to the conspiracy site where you can really dig into the secrets of S-Mart. I can't just lay it out there.
There's someone trying to take BruceFest down. There's someone trying to take S-Mart down. So there's a counter conspiracy faction that you can find if you look close enough on brucefest.co. There is a secret link somewhere on the site. You'll find it. Yeah, that'll take you to a whole rabbit hole.
And how fun is that? You get to come to a convention, see Bruce Campbell, and also be part of a game yourself. Like, you actually play an ARG, and that's super interesting. You guys did a really cool job of crafting it. I think that's something that I think is like truly unique about this and all is this ARG element. Like, it's crazy you guys thought of doing that, and it's really neat. It's really gives you something extra to do during the weekend.
Yeah, that was all Selena. I mean, that was one of the reasons that she brought me on board. We met Selena and I met working on this bizarro, like, weird extreme haunt, like underground
in the middle of the
LA,
desert.
We were out in the desert in the middle of the night. Yeah, like dressed as cultists, conducting these bizarre rituals and inducting participants into this cult. And then, I mean, it was nuts. But anyway, so we're bringing some of that energy to BruceFest. And that's really Selena's genius stroke. She brought that whole thing to this festival. And it's really exciting because, for me, as a fan of sort of immersive experiences and video games and live theater and that kind of stuff, and also of the Evil Dead franchise, having the opportunity to sort of step into the franchise and take a role in that world is what I would want as a fan. And so it's been really exciting to try to create that for participants at BruceFest.
Excellent.
And it's really active. It's not just immersive, it's interactive. Like, you have to engage in things, you unlock things, you cause things to happen. but you're in universe. So you feel like you're alongside the characters that we love unrolling this mystery. So thank you, Paul. I could not do it without Paul's amazing writing. He's so creative. I know. It's a team.
It really is. I mean, it's to the point where I forget who came up with which idea because we're so, also you don't actually, you should go to BruceFest, but you don't have to get a little taste of this immersive narrative in this world. All you have to do is go visit www.shopsmartonline.com and don't forget that hyphen.
Yeah, start digging into it. It's super interesting. The S-Mart conspiracy. That's super cool.
So you have that website and then a hidden website that you can find.
Start digging.
Good luck.
You guys can find all the information about BruceFest at BruceFest Official on Instagram, as well as brucefest.co. That's brucefest.co. And this is a Stanley Hotel, historic location. Bruce Campbell, Ted Raimi, two iconic actors, and a weekend filled with just once-in-a-lifetime experiences. I can't think of anything else to say. I mean, it's just one-of-a-kind experience that you definitely need to look into because there's nothing else like it. With that, I think we can go ahead and we can start wrapping things up here, guys. Thank you, Paul and Selena, for joining us. You guys have done an amazing job putting together BruceFest, and I think anyone who's a Bruce Campbell fan can have nothing but good things to say about you guys putting this together because it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Well, thank you for having us. We love what you do.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Amazing.
Yeah, we were so thrilled when we stumbled across your podcast. We were looking for stuff, and we immediately knew that we had found like-minded
excellent
Bruce fans, and you guys have also just been so wonderful. Working with us and just really on the same page. So it's been great. We really love you guys.
Yeah, you guys are amazing.
I was so excited. Like Selena reached out to me on Instagram on the actual Cult Talk Net page. And I was so excited. I was like, is this like a scam thing? Is she gonna be like, oh, we have this BruceFest thing. All you have to do is send us, $120.
Yeah. Money order.
And then I was like, oh, okay. So I sent it to Mike because Mike, a lot of people don't know, he's like he has a master's degree in business. So I sent him. I was like, hey, Mike, is this legitimate? And he's like, yeah, this is legitimate. So I was like, okay, all right, well, I'll respond now. I was like, that's all I needed those two. Yeah. So
we're so glad.
Yeah. So
exists.
I was
Bruce
really excited.
A podcast. So you guys do great work. Yeah. Great work. Thank you so much for what you do.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And you can find everything about BruceFest Co. at BruceFest Official on Instagram. You can find all the Cult Talk Net stuff at Cult Talk Net across the board. I made it super easy. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere at Cult Talk Net. You can find Cult of Campbell every other Monday. You can find Cult Talk Conspiracy every other Tuesday. And Cult of Lore every other Thursday. And in video form on YouTube at youtube.com/culttalknet. I've been Ty.
I've been Selena.
And until next time, stay groovy.
Hail to the king, baby. That's it? That's the best you got?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.